Welcome. We've come to the Incarnation part of the story, and this is where we start to relate to God in a very different way than anything that came up until this point. Before this, many characters in the Old Testament would interact with God. They would hear His voice. He would speak to them in a multitude of different ways. They could sense Him, but they couldn't touch Him. And he was hard to relate to, in many ways unrelatable as the Spirit of God. And then in the New Testament, suddenly we have this new revelation of who God is, and He comes in the most finite, frail, vulnerable way through the womb of a young virgin girl, and comes out as this little tiny baby. And suddenly this same Spirit of Christ that has held the whole universe together now comes and has to learn to talk and to walk and to do human cultural things. It's mind-blowing. So up until this point, we've had lots of image bearers that have tried to reflect God. Every generation they were hoping the Messiah is coming, and every generation not only let down the human race, but they weren't imaging God well either. So it's like a poor, really badly lit selfie that we take. And we look at the image and we go, ugh, doesn't look that great. And then Jesus comes along and he's a professional portrait of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He reflects God fully, completely, and yet He's in human form just like us. So I can look into His eyes, I can hear His voice, I can touch Him, and He's so familiar to me. He comes down to our level and He humbles Himself, and He comes as a servant and He washes our feet. What a wonderful picture of an eternal, everlasting God coming into time and space and geography and wanting to just be with us. So of course, we've gone quite a distance in the journey already, and you've discovered a little bit of this embodied spirituality. But in this moment in the Incarnation and during this part of our course, you're going to discover an even more immersive, fully human revelation of who God is.